Hi everyone, welcome back to Bloom Through Faith. This is Diamond. Welcome to week 2 of my weekly vlog here at the 58-acre garden sanctuary, or should I say gardens. There's many gardens here, and also it's a homestead, and also a place that has been really educational for me while I've been here. So I should start by saying this is actually future Diamond. I mean present Diamond, but also future Diamond, because I'm actually in week 3 right now, but I'm backpedaling and filming week 2. So let's just dive right into it. I am currently sipping on some motherwort tea that I harvested and processed, and will be doing some dehydrating in the next couple of days. Really good. She's kind of a light sedative. She really works with the cardiovascular system, and for people who are experiencing stress and anxiety, and sometimes even, I would say, panic attacks in a way. She's really soothing, and also great for those who may be experiencing grief, and also just overwhelmed. So really, if you think about the word motherwort, really a medicine geared towards maybe the mothers who are finding themselves often in motion, often having a lot on their plate, and don't really have time to be with themselves and their own needs. So yeah, she's great, and also you know, she's great for bringing in a lot more courage and attunement to the heart, and a lot of compassion and self-love, and remembering that love is always accessible to all of us. So great medicine. And yeah, so if you all have any tea or a nice drink that you want to grab to watch this video, feel free. So yeah, motherwort. Before I delve right in, I also just want to say that this land here, before I got here, I tuned into it, the mountains and the valleys. Here I am, and you know, really felt my solar plexus, really felt that inner fire of power, and of being in my power, and of speaking up for myself, even when it feels uncomfortable, or really breaking old patterns of like staying small, or not saying something that I want. And so that has been coming up bit by bit, and especially today. So yeah, there's an update. I won't be here as long as I thought, and that's perfectly okay. There's been some events that have kind of brought me to this point, and yeah, it feels natural. I was kind of feeling like I was going to be here for a month anyway, so it's great that the intuition in the universe is like catching up. So yeah, let's get started. What happened week 2? I know that we had a heat wave here, and yeah, I know that we had a heat wave here. I think it was like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of last week. And so that would have been the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th of June. So it was really hot. It was like upper 90s. I think at one point we may have gotten in the triple digits. And then this week and the end of last week has just been like rain and thunderstorms, and yeah, so like back in the 80s, back in the mid 80s. But I bring that all up to say that one of those days, I was requesting an AC. There's no AC in the intern cabin here, at least before I got here. Now there is one. And yeah, it was just so hot. It was so hot. You know, I opened the windows. I'm actually in the intern cabin now. It's really quaint, and yeah, it has been such a blessing since I've been here, and to have my own space, and it has like nature books and all the things that I need. But anyways, they have these rollout windows, about maybe 6 or 7 of them, and then I have a big fan, and then a ceiling fan that I was using to kind of like draw out the hot air, and like opening the windows early morning and late at night, and closing them during the day. And so I was like trying that, and it just wasn't working for me. So again, one of those moments of being like, do I really have to ask for an air conditioner? I'm like nervous of like how the other people, like how the host will feel about me. Will it be a complaint? Because I've gotten that in the past, even though I was just sharing my needs, sharing like what felt true for me. But to those people, it was complaining. Or at least that's how they labeled it to be. And so I was like, okay, well, things have been good. Do I have to kind of like rock the boat? And the truth is that, yeah, eventually I did. Eventually I needed to, because in order for me to really be able to do this work exchange, I, really needed to like nourish my body, and to have cool air to sleep in, and to do all the things that I do here in the place where I reside. So yeah, so there's that. So that came up. Just wanted to share that like, if anybody, if this resonates with anyone, that like, right now you are going through and breaking through old patterns of like people pleasing, or standing in your truth, or like maybe you feel like, oh, if I say something or do something, it's gonna rock the boat. I really ask you, and invite you, not ask, but like invite you to get curious, of like what will happen if I don't do this thing? What will happen within my body, within myself, if I don't kind of speak up? If something feels uncomfortable, and in a place of like, we don't have to be disrespectful, right? But like in a way that honors self, right? Because essentially, when you can express your needs and you share your needs and your desires with other people, you are honoring yourself, and you are actually creating a place of security and safety, instead of abandoning yourself based on what you literally going outside of your body to then kind of like coddle another person, right? It's like caretaking of other people, and really like, however something maybe lands with another people, they have to ultimately be the one who processes their own emotions. But our work here, and our path ultimately is not to abandon ourselves. It's actually to create more stability and safety, and honoring our voice, honoring our thoughts, honoring our intuition, and honoring the power that we have, and it's not like I'm this like powerful person and I don't care about other people. It's not even that. It's like power within self, right? It's like it's like that ability to take care of ourselves, that ability to parent ourselves. That's ultimately where some of the deepest power comes from, and our ability to choose and to make decisions and choices that are actually in alignment with who we are. And that power also has to do with us being authentic, being genuine, and also being integrous, right? And like really tuning into like, when I say this thing, right, does it actually uphold my values of like not speaking up for myself or not doing the thing? And so yeah, it's really important to get clear on those, and to really be able to see if like, am I being authentic? Am I being, true to myself, and honest, and am I being integrous, right? And ultimately we all have our own inner values, the values that we ascribe to and subscribe to, and that we live by. And those are ever changing, right? Because like what you had, like your values or the things you cared about when you were a teenager to when you were like in your 20s, and whatever age you may be at now, it's like things that we cared about, things that we desire, are changing. Let me get my headphones because I think that's the tractor. One second. They're building a road because we have guests who stay here actually often, because if you all know, you may not know, but Virginia, and specifically this area that I live in, it's really known to have clear skies at night. So it's really pitch black, and you can see the stars and everything clearly. The moon. It's very, very beautiful. Because we aren't in the city, so we don't have a lot of like pollutants or like bright lights or things in the air that would prevent us from being able to have those clear skies. But I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, so let's get going. So the last thing you all heard from last week, Friday, or June 20th, was that I made the tabbouleh. We had the edible weed forage identification class. I think I spoke about the farmers market in town. I talked about weeding and putting plants in the hoop house and dehydrating the plantain. And so on Monday, what we did is we planted tomatoes in their own patch. So we planted tomatoes, um, and we dug the holes for tomatoes and secured them in the mixture of the compost. So the cow and the horse manure, with a mix of Epsom salt. And so if you all can just imagine that, like each hole, like it's maybe a row of five, and in each row there's like, or maybe it's, was it five? It was 6 or 7 rows, and then there's 5 to 6 holes in each row. And so we're digging really deep holes, and then we are adding a shovel full of compost and a shovel full of Epsom salt. And so if you don't know, like tomatoes really, really have, like are heavy feeders, and it's important that they have a good system, like a good nutritional system, and are actually like really well fed before, as they are being put into like their permanent homes for the season ultimately, because it can really affect and stunt their growth. It can stunt the fruit, which is the tomatoes. You can get less of a yield depending on like if there's a lack of like of amendments of nutrition for the tomatoes, and that also goes for a lot of plants, right? But it's really important that the soil is ready. um, and yeah, so we did that, and that took up most of Monday. Excuse me. From the in the morning, we weeded the area where the tomatoes were at. We're gonna be at. And we started early, so we started at 8:30. And usually I work in 2-hour blocks of time, and I work 4 hours each day, Monday through Friday. So we weeded from the previous season, and then yeah, in the evening from 5:30 to 7:30, we dug the hole. On Tuesday, we planted watermelon and squash in the hoop house. And we also planted in 4 tomatillos next to the tomatoes. I'm trying to think what else. I think I also weeded that morning. Like I weeded the peas and I also weeded the potatoes. Yeah, I weeded the potatoes. Potatoes. And it was funny. I saw Datora. I have a picture. I also input it. But yeah, they are all in the same plant family, the nightshade. So it was cool to see them all together. Um, yeah, that patch, that row is potatoes, cabbage, and now um, later on, I think I'm getting my days mixed up. He was either this week or Monday or yesterday, Monday, where I interplanted marigolds and broccoli into that patch. But yeah, that's what I did on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I weeded the biggest plot in the garden and weeded the onions and the peas. And that took up most of Wednesday. We worked from 8 to 12. And then on Thursday, June 26th, I worked from 7 to 11 or yeah, 7 to 11. I started earlier on Thursday because it was just me, because the woman who I work with specifically, she goes out and has her like spa day, like her me day, her self care day on Thursday. So she goes into to the main town, just like an hour out, and she does her grocery shopping, her massages, her swimming, that kind of a thing. And so I just do my own thing on Thursdays. So I finished weeding the onion plot. And then I made a big dent weeding the blueberry patch. The blueberry patch is really, really important because if you don't know, it's kind of similar to garlic. Like blueberries really don't like weeds. Like it's really important that because again that can really affect their growth, and also it's really important to have a clear viewpoint of blueberries and any type of berries really, so that you know what animals are like getting to the berries, what animals are coming in, digging through the fencing, and and essentially like eating the goodness of from the plants, right? Because if you aren't eating your produce, then something else is. So there's that. And I also put a picture. It's like this big patch. It's this big area, and it's completely enclosed through this big gate. And so I just dug out a lot of things and put it in compost, because we don't just take things out, and we're like we don't just spray, and like we don't take things out and have no care as to what happens. Ultimately, a lot of things are composted to actually make new soil and new nutrients to then be added back to the garden beds for future seasons. So it's a very 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 beautiful process actually. And yeah, and also just want to speak to, it's not just these weeds that we like consider a pest, right? There can really be any kind of plants that kind of uh, can what's the word, like um, can kind of creep into some like another plant space, right? And so that's one thing that we see from any type of garden that we may maintain, whether it's an edible garden or your garden that's like your flower beds that's in the front of the house, or the hedgerows, just whatever it might be, whatever type of um, garden that you may be stewarding, you will notice that like there's some plants that really need space and they really don't like when other plants kind of intrude on their space. Um, so yeah, that's something to keep an eye out on. And then on Friday, we planted and transplanted corn and squash and bush beans and sweet potatoes. You all will also get pictures of those. They'll be inserted. Yeah, that was so fun. So fun. We planted the glass gem corn. If you don't know what those look like, they're pretty much like kind of look like glass. And they're like different color type of corn. And so basically, we did the three sisters, and then we also planted summer squash, winter squash, and yeah, the vegetable garden is pretty much done. We're just gonna be weeding the what is it called? If I can remember, the it's not astragalus. Um, what is it called? I gotta look it up. Sorry, guys. 1 second. Oh, I got it. Literally was typing a vegetable that starts with A. Asparagus. There's an entire asparagus patch. It used to be strawberries, but now it's asparagus, and so we need to weed that. And then there's another patch that has the raspberries, the blackberries, some cherries, and some other types of herbs that we will also do some weeding there as well. And then once we're done in the vegetable garden, we'll continue to weed throughout the season. But we're going up to the rock garden to do some weeding there. Also to plant some 50 native woodland plants. Oh my God, I'm so excited. But I'm going to be learning about those. And we'll also be harvesting because the comfrey here grows wild. It grows like a weed. Like it just, well, it could be, the thing is, these plants are like become quote unquote weeds in our mind and a pest because we don't get them before they self seed. And so if they self seed, that literally just means, I mean, I'm sure just hearing it, you know what that means. But the seeds just fall anywhere. So ultimately, you can have plants that grow anywhere. And then if they're perennials, you're going to get them each year. So oftentimes you'll find them in like walkways or places that people may not want them to grow. And so here, the mullein, the motherwort, the poke, the comfrey all just grows wild. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna transplant. We're gonna take all of that and then we're going to do a green mulch around the tomatoes. So it's gonna be fun. That's something we're gonna do next week, which is basically this week that Present Diamond, me filming his is in. And yeah, and then we're going to be harvesting a lot of different things, making some more medicines. I'm going to be transplanting Nicotiana. And so there's a lot of goodness to come. A lot of goodness to come. So I think that is all for the week. Just a lot of planting, a lot of weeding, a lot of rain. And that's a part of having a garden. It's not always just the most glamorous things. To me, this is glamorous because I enjoy doing these things, but this is the basics of even how humans have to get up and we shower every day and we brush our teeth every day and we, you know, have to put certain things on our face for moisturizing and hydration and wash our hair and take care of our bodies. And it's the same thing for the garden. When you decide that you want to have land, or you want to be a steward of of plants or something that you're growing, and even of becoming a mother of a physical, like a human child in the world, it's important that you take good care um, of the beings, the people, the plants, um, that that you are a caretaker of, that you are a steward of. And so I'll leave you all with that. I hope that you all have a beautiful, beautiful week. And yeah, take good care of yourself. Bye. Hi, this is Editing Diamond. Just wanted to add some photos in here of things and of plants that I love. This so has been a great ally this week for me. All right, take good care. Bye.